So our first topic for today is nocturnal enuresis. There are two types of nocturnal enuresis. One is primary nocturnal enuresis and one is secondary nocturnal enuresis. What is primary nocturnal enuresis? Primary nocturnal enuresis is bedwetting in a child who has never achieved consistent nighttime dryness. And secondary nocturnal enuresis is bedwetting in a child who has previously been dry for at least 6 months. The causes may include developmental delay, urinary tract infection, constipation, and type 1 diabetes mellitus. How constipation can cause enuresis? A distended bowel can put pressure on the bladder and shrinking its capacity so that the child cannot hold much. So that's how constipation can lead to nocturnal enuresis. Now, how we are going to manage primary nocturnal enuresis? Primary nocturnal enuresis means if the child has never achieved dryness before. Normally, usually the child have a control on enuresis till 4 year of age. So if a child presents you with the primary nocturnal enuresis and he is without daytime symptoms, primary nocturnal enuresis without daytime symptoms, and if the age of the child is less than 5 years, then you will reassure the parents. And if his age is 5 years or above 5 years, then you have two options. If the symptoms are less than 2 times per week, then again reassurance plus reward system. And if the symptoms are more than 2 times per week, then you need to control the symptoms either through an enuresis alarm plus reward system. If long-term control is required, then we are going to use enuresis alarm reward system. And if rapid control is needed, then we will give desmopressin, oral or sublingual. Nasal desmopressin for bedwetting in children is not chosen. There are two reasons for not using nasal desmopressin. One of them is that its absorption can be affected by a runny nose or a stuffy nose. And the second reason for not picking nasal desmopressin for rapid control of nocturnal enuresis is that it can cause significant side effects. So that's why either oral or sublingual desmopressin will be chosen if rapid control of nocturnal enuresis is required. So for acute control of primary enuresis in a child who is 5 years old or above 5 years old, and the symptoms are 2 times per week or more than 2 times per week, for rapid control, we'll use oral or sublingual desmopressin. And for long-term control, we'll need enuresis alarm plus reward system. Now, this was the management of primary nocturnal enuresis or primary bedwetting without daytime symptoms. Remember that primary bedwetting with daytime symptoms in children who are above 2 years old will refer to secondary care or enuresis clinic. Because primary bedwetting with daytime symptoms the causes may include overactive bladder, congenital malformations, neurological disorders, urinary tract infection, and chronic constipation. So if a child presents to you with primary bedwetting and daytime symptoms, then there may be an underlying cause like overactive bladder, UTI, or chronic constipation, or any neurological disorder or congenital malformation. So all in these cases, you will need to refer the patient to a child if he is above 2 years old to a secondary care clinic or to an aneuresis clinic to diagnose the underlying cause of this bedwetting with daytime symptoms. So if all the other causes are ruled out, such as neurological disorders, congenital malformation, urinary tract infection, if they are ruled out and the cause is overactive bladder, then we'll start with bladder retraining or behavioral therapy. So the first line treatment for overactive bladder, as we discussed in gynecology chapter, is that bladder training, and the second line is oxybutynin. So if this bladder retraining or behavioral therapy fails, then we can try oxybutynin. Similarly, with oxybutynin, desmopressin can also be tried. Now we have two antimuscarinic agents that can be given in second is tolterodine. Remember that these medications are also given in urinary incontinence, such as urge incontinence, and it can also be used in primary nocturnal enuresis with daytime symptoms if the cause is overactive bladder. So if the child with primary nocturnal enuresis or primary bedwetting with daytime symptoms present to you in a primary care clinic, then you will refer the patient to a secondary care clinic. And in secondary care clinic, you will do a general physical examination. You will order urine complete examination. And if the cause is diagnosed as overactive bladder, then you will advise bladder retraining and oxybutynin if bladder retraining is failed. So this was all about primary bedwetting. Primary bedwetting without daytime symptoms will need to reassure if the children age is less than 5 years, and if the children age is more than 5 years or 5 years, then we can do short-term control in the form of desmopressin and long-term control in the form of reward system and enuresis alarm as well. And if primary bedwetting is with daytime symptoms and the child age is above 2 years, then we need to refer the patient to a secondary care clinic or enuresis clinic, where all the tests will be performed. And if the cause is diagnosed as overactive bladder, then bladder retraining plus oxybutynin or tolterodine can be used in the treatment of primary bedwetting with daytime symptoms.
So the child
secondary
should
bedwetting.
be, sorry, in the primary bedwetting, you said something about the child is more than 2 years. Should it not be like more than 5 years if they are having these symptoms in the day?
Nighttime dryness is achieved by the age of 4 years,
Right.
and daytime dryness is achieved by the age of 2 years.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So
if
this
there
is
are
for the
daytime
daytime.
symptoms, yes, if the daytime symptoms are present, then you will refer the patient if the age is above 2 years.
Okay.
Daytime symptoms before the age of 2 years is normal.
Right.
So in short, nighttime dryness is achieved by the age of 4 years, and daytime dryness is achieved by the age of 2 years. So that's why if the daytime symptoms are present, then you'll refer the patient if the patient age is above 2 years.
Okay. So that we will refer the patient after ruling out all the other causes, like the neurological causes and the other.
No, if the patient present to you, if in the question they mention that the patient has presented to you in an enuresis clinic or a secondary care center, then you will rule out the causes.
Okay.
If he
Okay.
is presented to you in secondary care,
Right. Right. Right.
you will do a urine complete examination. You will check his BSR levels, and you will do a physical examination to look for any congenital malformation. And if the patient is presented to you in a primary care clinic, then you will refer to, because this cannot be done in a primary care center.
Right.
So
Okay.
now some point about secondary bedwetting. Secondary bedwetting is bedwetting in a child who is dry for at least 6 months, who has achieved dryness before, and now he is bedwetting. The causes again can include diabetes, UTI, constipation, and psychological problems such as behavioral or emotional problems, family problems. So psychological problems is the main cause of secondary bedwetting, along with UTI, constipation, and diabetes. Now, if the cause of secondary bedwetting is identified, such as glucose in urine or infection, then he can be managed in primary care. And if the cause is not identified or cause cannot be managed in primary care, then you will need a referral to a pediatrician or an enuresis clinic. So secondary bedwetting will be managed in primary care setting if the cause is either high BSR or urine infection. And if the cause is not identified, then we will refer the patient to a enuresis clinic or to a pediatrician. Now let's do some examples. So primary enuresis without daytime symptoms, age less than 5 years, will reassure the patient. Age above 5 years, and then we'll see if the symptoms are frequent or infrequent. If symptoms are infrequent, that is less than 2 times a week, then we'll reassure. And if the symptoms are frequent, that is more than 2 times a week, then we have two options for long-term control and enuresis alarm, first line plus reward system. And for short-term control of bedwetting is required. For example, a child is going to sleep at a camp. For 2 days, or the child age is above 7 years old, then desmopressin can be used for a temporary control. And if after 2 complete courses of treatment with alarm, reward system, and desmopressin, they are still bedwetting, then we'll refer the patient to secondary care. So without daytime symptoms, we'll manage the patient at a primary care with reward system and enuresis alarm. And for short-term control, or if the patient age is above 7 years, then desmopressin. And if after 2 complete courses of treatment with alarm, reward system, and desmopressin, they are still bedwetting, then we'll need to refer to a secondary care. Secondary enuresis, as we discussed before, that if the cause is identified, such as infection and glucose in the urine, then he can be managed at a primary care. Otherwise, we'll refer the patient to a secondary care. And one of the common reasons for secondary enuresis is emotional upset. Could be a result of child abuse, could be some family problems. This is a main cause of secondary enuresis. That's why we need to refer the child to a secondary care clinic. And other causes such as UTI, diabetes mellitus, and constipation, they can also cause secondary enuresis. So remember that normally, according to NICE guidelines, the first line treatment for primary bedwetting is an enuresis alarm plus reward system. And an enuresis alarm is first line for children under the age of 7 years. And if the child is above 7 year age, then the first line medication will be desmopressin. So remember that the treatment depends upon the age of the children. So if the child is above 7 years old, or the family is not comfortable, or the family is not acceptable, or the enuresis alarm is not acceptable to the family, or enuresis alarm is ineffective, then we will use desmopressin. So three circumstances in which desmopressin will be used as a first line drug. One is if the child age is above 7 years, and if enuresis alarm is not acceptable to the family. And the third one is if an enuresis alarm is ineffective. So under these three circumstances, desmopressin will be used as a first line to manage primary bedwetting. Otherwise, enuresis alarm plus reward system is the first line to treat primary bedwetting. Now, let's do an example. A 6-year-old child with primary enuresis without daytime symptoms. So the child age is 6 years. Without daytime symptom is going to attend a sleepover party at a friend's house. His mother wants to something to help control his enuresis during his sleepover. So primary bedwetting in children who are above 5 years without daytime symptoms, for short-term control, we use desmopressin. Desmopressin is an ADH analog. It just acts like an ADH agonist. It retains the water in the body because ADH is a water-loving hormone. So water will be retained in the body. So that's how bedwetting can be managed with desmopressin for a short period of time. Now, another example, a 5-year-old boy presents to the secondary care with persistent nighttime bedwetting plus several incidents of daytime urine relief. So whenever you see daytime symptoms, then it's alarming. He has never been able to keep dry before. His urine dipstick is normal. What is the most appropriate management? So a 5-year-old boy to the secondary care clinic with persistent nighttime bedding plus several incidences of daytime urine relief. So what is the management in this case? This is a case of primary enuresis because he has never been able to keep dry before. This is primary enuresis with daytime symptoms. His urine dipstick is normal, so UTI is not the cause. What is the most appropriate management? A, enuresis alarm. B, intranasal desmopressin. C, reassurance. And D, oral oxybutynin. So you can see that we refer the patient with primary bedwetting plus daytime symptoms if the patient age is above 2 years. Here the patient age is 5 years. So we should refer this patient to a secondary care clinic. But in this question, you can see that the patient present to us in a secondary care clinic. So in a secondary care clinic, we need to rule out the causes of nocturnal enuresis. And you can see that his urine dipstick is normal. So the cause of his symptoms is not UTI. So enuresis alarm and intranasal desmopressin and reassurance are not the right answer because here the cause is overactive bladder. And the first line for overactive bladder is bladder retraining. And if there is no response to bladder retraining, then we'll use oral oxybutynin. So whenever you have a patient with primary enuresis with daytime symptoms, he need to be referred to a secondary care clinic. But he present to you, if he present to you in a secondary care clinic, then you need to rule out the causes of these symptoms by doing uh, urine dipstick, by checking his random blood sugar levels. And if there's no cause is identified, then the cause would most probably be overactive bladder. So this was all about nocturnal anuresis, its types and their management. I hope it's clear to everyone.